Welcome to the video and thank you very much for tuning in. My name is Saul, the creator of the Summoner's Nexus TCG, a digital indie trading card game that is currently in its pre-alpha/open beta, which means that you can download it and play it right now. To that end, I'm making some videos showcasing some of the deck lists that already exist in the game's current meta, as it were. I know that the game is still being developed, but even with that being the case, of the cards that have been coded into the game, a meta has actually formed and has been evolving over time. Personally, despite having made the game and tested it for years, I can't even take credit for all of the deck lists and discoveries coming out of the community. This is actually one of them, the Pile Reaper deck list. Now, I'm going to be doing a deep dive into this list, explain what its objective is, why it's been crafted the way that it has, and some of the cool things that it can do that your ordinary Reaper list just can't. Let's dive right into it. Now, the Reaper subset, one of the most aggressive decks in the game that functions primarily by supporting this card, Umbrage the Reaper. He's a 300 attack card with 100 defense, and his job is to consistently swing on your opponent and decimate their defenses to make a way for your weaker monsters to then attack your opponent directly. If he goes down, this deck tends to struggle a lot. It is kind of top heavy, and that's sort of the point because it's so offensively and aggressively powerful. And another weakness that comes with that is, generally speaking, your average Reaper deck list does not have that much defense because there are only 2 Reaper cards in the game that actually have anything as part of the defensive value. That is a problem that the Pile Reaper strategy aims to solve. Now, what you can probably notice if you know this game is that some of the cards in this list are not Reaper cards at all. I mean, all 7 core Reaper cards have been included, but we've got 3 cards at the bottom that do not have their synergy activated, right? We have thrown in 3 random cards. Every card in this game has what's called a synergy rating, which can be found in this big black circle on the card data page. Now, that number determines how many cards need to be in your deck list alongside this card for it to be able to use its effects, to have active synergy. Now, you're allowed to play cards in your resource deck that don't have active synergy, but they can't use their effects. So since this deck is built to be a Reaper deck and support them, we don't have enough extra space to fill it with enough cards to meet the synergy requirements of these other cards. So they're effectively just vanilla beat sticks, which initially might seem awful, but that is why this is a pile deck. Now, because of the deck size restrictions in this game being 20 cards only, what's considered a pile deck in this game is really just a rune engine that combines the means of various decks and their strategies without using their actual avatar effects. How you do this is by using, well, the runes, the magic cards, because magic cards do not have synergy ratings attached to them. There's no such thing as active synergy for a card like this. So, the cards for the Reaper subset support the Reaper subset, right? The runes, the magic cards support the Reaper subset. Now, the magic cards for the Ancient Beast subset also, they support the Ancient Beast subset. Relatively straightforward, relatively simple. Well, these cards, these magic cards, don't require your Ancient Beast monsters to have active synergy to work on them. So that is what we call a rune engine. You throw in the runes and you throw in the avatars, and yes, these are just beat sticks, but you are then able to still use these powerful rune effects on them in-game to allow you to sort of combine the strength of 2 subsets that wouldn't normally fit together. I've made this smaller again so you can see a little bit better everything that's going on in terms of the card data. So, in the case of a card like Ancient Pasture, it allows you to reset the attack and defense of an Ancient Beast avatar. So, this Nadia that might battle, or this Rex that might battle as a beat stick, you can very easily then just have it attack, do something, defend, and then reset its stats, right? This card that allows you to retrieve an Ancient Beast avatar that's been destroyed and add it back to your hand, you can do that, allowing you to play your beat sticks out again. And there are other cards from this subset that you can use along with these ones to make this rune engine even more powerful if you want to, as long as you have the space. The same goes for the Wandering Mriga. No, it can't use any of its effects, but when it gets played onto the field, it's a 200 stat body, and then you can use the card Zodiac Barrier on it. There are other Wandering Avatar runes that you can use in this card's place, but this is my favorite one because what this card says is, hey, target a wandering avatar you control and fortify it. Make it so that it cannot be destroyed or lose stats from battle the next time that it battles, and then choose any other avatar you control, and that card takes the damage that this card would have received. It doesn't have to be a wandering avatar, which means this can be used to turn this into just a really beefy defender of a potential 400 stat wall in total by blocking the first attack with its 200 defense and then its actual 200 defense being used. Now, you may have noticed a trend here already. The main thing that we're trying to do, the main hole that we're trying to fill, is adding more defense to the Reaper subset, right? So you are able to guarantee that you have more defensive options than you normally would, and these defensive options have a little bit of recursion and a little bit of like amps that you can put to them, along with the minimal defensive power that like the main Reaper subset already had on its own. As for how this deck actually plays, it's relatively similar to how a Reaper subset deck would function in the early stages of the game. You would put Umbrage in the Assault Zone turn 1, summon either Sickle or Cronus to support him, and then have Ward on the field for a little bit of defense. From turn 2 onward though, you want to start drawing as many cards as you can, because all of your other defensive options outside of the Reaper's board are locked away in your resource deck. Now you draw 1 Avatar and 1 Rune per turn. We've included card exchange in the mix to allow you to draw something sooner, and you will start to sort of see the main problem with pile decks and rune engines in this game somewhat early on, in that because we are drawing the cards from our resource deck at random. Let's say that I draw the Wandering Mraiga. Awesome, I've got a defensive wall, but then I draw Ancient Pasture as the rune that turn. Well, this card is useless until I draw one of these 2 cards, and I might want to hold on to this card in my hand until I draw this specific card, right? There's a lot of inconsistency when it comes to using rune engines, and that's something that I actually kind of like. It's something that I appreciate about like the depth and complexity about building decks in this game, is you have a lot to account for and a lot to keep in mind, but this is the main strategy for the Pile Reapers, right? Go all out on offense, max out your offensive stats, and then try and use these random cards to work together to give you like some crazy effects that you shouldn't really have access to, but you do if you're clever enough about it and if you're lucky enough. If this sounds like fun, give it a shot. Build yourself a Pile Reaper deck and see how well you do. I think that this is a pretty strong deck list, but again, it relies a little bit on luck and it's not the most consistent thing in the world, so keep that in mind if you decide to build it. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please consider subscribing to the channel, like the video, and if you're not already, join the Discord, download the game, give it a try, give me your thoughts, your opinions, all of it. I'd love to hear it. Thank you very much for watching and have a wonderful day. Take care.